Hi, how you doing? Okay, so this video is about Dave Chappelle's recent remarks. I noticed there's like videos everywhere. It's all over Facebook. I mean, it just like made a ton of news all over the place. And Ben Shapiro is all over it, and it's just it's so annoying, honestly. First of all, I am not against censorship, so I would never support censorship. I do not think that any of these people should be censored. Um, and I also have a sense of humor about being transgender. I would love to see a comedian really cash in on kind of the funny side of being transgender, because there is a funny side, but I listen to Dave Chappelle and it's just, quite frankly, it's just not funny. It's just not funny. He's just talking. He's not saying a joke. It's not a joke. Um, he's saying like, and it's just a fact that, that they're not women. A trans woman's not a woman. It's just, gender's not just make believe. Ben Shapiro says the same thing, Gender's not just a figment of our imagination. It's real. Well, this is just so stupid because that's not what science is saying. Science is saying there's 3 genders, not 2. If there were only 2 genders, then what they were saying would be true. But there's not. There's 3 genders. I guess technically there's supposed to be a whole spectrum of genders according to science and stuff, but the number 3 can kind of mean, and then the rest. So it's like the first gender, the second gender, and then the third gender is like all the others, So, like you see my tattoo here, the symbol for transgender people. There's the male, the female, and then a symbol for something in between. I think that that's exactly what a trans woman is, where there's part of us is female, part of us is male, and part of us is something in between. It's a unique thing, It's a unique thing that that doesn't really belong in either place. It deserves its own spot just because of the reality of its existence. There's always been transgender people. It's not just some new thing. And another thing, the people that say they're trying to say that gender is this figment of our imagination. If some person up high said that, they're also an idiot, even if they're supposed to be on our side. That's stupidity. There's 3 genders, and the people that say there's only 2 genders, notice they're never scientists, they're never transgender people, they're never people that come from a spot of knowing. They're always people that are like religious or representing, like Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is a snobbish, a cheerleader. Come on, you guys, have you watched Ben Shapiro? It's obvious he doesn't know how to think for himself. He's no free thinker. What he says knowing that there's all these people are going to support him and agree with him. He's not doing it because that's what he thinks independently. He's doing it because he knows that the people on his side of the argument would all agree with them, There's lots of evidence. You just have to kind of read between the lines. I can't stand Ben Shapiro. He's a freaking idiot, that uses big words and says stupid shit like that, Of course, gender is not a figment of our imagination, or sex is not a figment of our imagination, but either is transgender people, and there's transgender animals, and we just see evidence of a third gender all over the place in science and in reality. And so it's so that as you listen to them, it's like they don't have 2 legs to stand on, when you consider all the facts, and they claim to represent the facts, and it's just not funny. Sometimes, I'll walk past a reflection of me, and I'll just kind of laugh at myself. I can laugh at myself. I'm like, wow, Angie, you are so funny. You're so fucking brave, and so it's funny, why is there someone like you that's so brave that you walk around dressed however you want to and everything like that? It is funny. I'm funny. I wouldn't mind someone laughing at me, but not from the perspective of Dave Chappelle, because he's laughing at us from the perspective of that we're a lie. You know, what we represent isn't true. So it's ignorant, and it's just, it's not funny. And he says it's not mean-hearted. It is mean-hearted, because he's joked about this a number of times before, and he can be real funny, you know. But as soon as he brings up LGBT people and gay people, how the hell in 2021, how do you still joke about gay people? At least joking about and being mean about transgenders is kind of new, but gay, that's like, dude, like, how do you, that's just not funny anymore, you know? I think you guys get the idea. I'm being kind of redundant, but yeah, not funny. And then J.R. Rowling, whatever, the author of Harry Potter. I used to like Harry Potter, but now I don't like her anymore. I like it anymore because she's this big, huge advocate for anti-gay, anti-transgender people, you know, saying the same thing, you know. And it's everybody's like, oh, I don't see what the big deal is. Well, it's because you're still stuck in that thinking of that there's two genders, so she makes sense to you. Remind yourself there's three genders, and then listen to her again. She doesn't make any sense. It's weak to be rude, you know? There's three genders, and so it's polite and good manners, which is an intelligent, sophisticated thing to do, to be polite, to just, like, you can see the person's representing themselves as a female, so just use female pronouns, because it's a way of, like, wishing them the best, you know? It's like a turnoff, you know, thinking, when you think of the humans think you're a joke, it's like, oh, well, fine, you know? Then I don't even want to, you know, like, you can have your own opinion, but I'm not going to be, I don't want to hang out with you because you don't make me feel good about myself, you know? It's not that, you know, there's nothing about reality that I'm afraid to accept, you know? And the psychologists call it gender dysphoria, you know, which means you don't like the gender that you're born, which it makes sense in a way, because there is a lot of not liking to be a boy, being born a boy, you know, in my history and in my thoughts and in my psychology, I guess, you know. Is it more that I don't want to be a boy, or is it more that I do want to be a girl? I don't really know the answer to that, you know. So, like, if that makes sense to them, I guess that makes sense. It doesn't matter what people think to me. All I know is that I'm taking care of myself, and it makes me happy, you know, and I deserve to be happy, you know. If it works, it works, you know. If it's not broken, don't fix it, you know. Why would you guys want me to fix it by trying to call me a joke, you know?